There are two designing components. First one is, we call it as information design tool, or IDT in short form.
Yep.
This is a newer version of modeling tool, designing modeling tool. And the second one, which is an older version, that we call it as universe design tool. Or universe designer. This is also a designing tool. So we have, in this server, we have both the versions. We have the older version as well as the newer version. These two are the designing or modeling components. And when it comes to reporting components, we have multiple reporting components. First one is web intelligence. This is a browser-based reporting component. And the next one is web intelligence rich client. This is the second reporting component, web intelligence rich client. And the third one is crystal reports. This is again a reporting component, crystal reports for enterprise. These are the three reporting components which we are going to see. Then after that, we have a dashboard components. This recording I can send you maybe within 3 to 4 hours, because for this recording I have the access where it has been stored. But for the Zoom recording, okay, I don't have access. The administrator, he has that access. He has to send. Okay.
Who has the access? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Who has the access to Zoom?
No, this GoToMeeting, I have the access. This recording, I can send you that. Whereas the Zoom has a different person. He's an administrator.
Okay. Okay.
That's the reason maybe your recording got delayed.
Okay.
When it comes to dashboard components, we have three dashboard components. First one is Lumira. And the second one is Dashboard Designer. And the third one is Design Studio. These are the various components. Total we have around 8 components in this server, in this BO server. First two components are the data modeling components, wherein we create a logical modeling. When I say logical modeling, the data will not reside physically in this model, wherein during the reporting time, the data will get loaded into the reports. That is the logical modeling components. Information design tool and universe designer. Then we have three reporting tools: web intelligence, web rich client. Web intelligence is a browser based. Web rich client is a client based reporting tool, whereas crystal reports for enterprise, it's again a browser based reporting tool. Then we have three dashboard components: Lumira, dashboard designer, as well as design studio. So let me show you an overview of all these components in the server. This is the remote server. First one is information design tool. You can see the shortcut here.
Yep.
In information design tool, what we are going to do is, we are going to, first of all, we are going to create manually. We don't prefer creating universe, sorry, not manually, automatic way. We want to create universe always manually. As per the client's requirement, we want to create a universe. So this is one way of creating a universe. You can see all the 4 steps here. Define the universe parameters, create classes and objects, measure objects, and generate the universe. So before understanding the steps in the slide, when I say designer, this designer is nothing but your UDT, Universe Design Tool. So in this Universe Design Tool, this is how the main screen of your Universe Design Tool looks like. You're going to see a standard toolbar, then an editing toolbar, structure, classes and objects, of course, formula bar. So let us try to understand each and everything.
Sure.
Now, why this is called as a universe is, universe means we are not talking about the literal universe. Here in business objects or in business intelligence, the universe is nothing but it's a file that contains 3 things. It's a file that contains, first one is connection parameters. So when I want to create a universe, say I want to create a sales universe. This sales universe I can create by connecting to any of the sources. I can create this whole sales universe by connecting to any of sources. It can be an SAP source or a non-SAP source. If it's a non-SAP source, say for example, it can be your Oracle SQL Server, even MS Access. Now, if at all I want to create a sales universe, I need to access sales tables from any of these sources. In order to access sales tables from the source systems, these are the different source systems. We call them as source systems.
Yep.
To access the tables from the source systems, the first thing what we need to do is we need to define a connection between your UDT and the database. That is what the point here is. Connection parameters for one or more database middleware. After establishing this connection, the next step is SQL structures. So once the connection is established, then we will create tables based on the structures of the tables available in the database. We are going to create a logical tables in the universe by seeing the structure of the original table which is available in the database. That is what we call it as structures. It's like designing. Say suppose if at all we want to construct a duplex, then first of all we will have a design. Based on this design we are going to construct literally, but in this case already literally we have tables in a database. By seeing the structure of these tables, we are trying to create a business model in UDT. Okay.
Yep.
Now the third one is schema of tables and joins. So once you import the structure or create a structure in the sales universe, we can create a join between these tables, or we can define objects, tables and joins used in the database. So if at all we want to join 2 tables, we can define a join in Universe Design Tool. That's what the third point says. When I say schema of tables and joins, it can be your star schema. All your dimension tables are connected to a fact table.
Yeah.
So did you understand what is a universe? Universe is nothing but it's just a file that contains all these three steps: connection parameters, SQL structures, and a schema of tables and joins. Now, what is the role of a universe? So why do we create universes? We are creating this universe for an end users. Towards your right, you will have an end user. End users are the consultants who work on different kinds of reports, and then based on the reporting data, they go for analysis. We call them as end users. So these end users, they don't have direct access to the database. They will not have direct access to the database. Instead, we are trying to create a universe for them. A universe is nothing but it's a file. We are trying to create a universe for them so that the queries, they can use the SQL query from this universe and they can create reports in their end user reporting tool. Okay?
Yep.
Fine. That's what it says here. The role of a universe is to provide an easy to use and understand interface for non-technical business objects and web intelligence users. Most of the time, these end users are non-technical guys.
Yeah.
And when we are talking about anything technical, if at all they try to access a table directly, they may not understand what exactly the table contains, or they may not know what is the purpose of these two joins. What is the purpose of joining between these two tables? They are not technical people. That is the reason, to make them an easier interface to create reports and go for data analysis, they are going to create a universe in UDT, or Universe Design Tool. Understood?
Yep.
Okay. Now the next one is semantic layer. The definition, it says the semantic layer consists of one or more separate universe. Each universe is a partial representation of a database in the form of business vocabulary. So when we are creating a universe, for example, let me show you. So these are the 4 steps. Define universe parameters. Universe parameters is nothing but connection between the universe and the source database, then creating classes and objects. Okay, let me open a default universe. eFashion is the default universe. If you notice here in this universe, we have different dimension tables and fact tables. These are the structures. Literally, there is no table here in this universe. The table is available only in the database. But when you execute a query on top of this universe, that is where it will fetch the data from the database. It's like it acts as an interface between end user and the database.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
so basically when the end user runs like a SQL query, they just, when they run the query, only that data that the query fetches, they see that only, nothing else.
Yes.
Okay.
Based on the query, it fetches the data from the database. Literally, the data is not stored in your universe design tool. The data is stored in your source system itself. But when the end user writes a SQL query and when he executes it, it fetches the data from database via this interface, that is universe, to the end user front-end layer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yep.
So that's what. So these tables doesn't have, the data is not stored here literally. But if at all we want to know how many tables this table, how many rows does this table contains. If at all you want to know, yes, we can know that. Right click on this table. Table values. If at all you want to see the table values, you can also see the table values. So this data is fetched from the database. This structure, this is whatever you see here, it is just a structure. Only the values are fetched from database. So these are the values for that table: shop ID, name, address, manager, open date, and so on. You can see here the same columns. Now, if at all you want to know how many rows does this table has, so again you can right click on this table and number of rows in table. Click OK. Again click OK. So this table has only 16 rows. You can see the number here.
Yep.
So all your dimension table contains less number of rows, whereas your fact table contains more storage. Your fact table is nothing but your data warehouse. A data warehouse is something wherein you can store huge volumes of data. Okay, so let me check how many rows this fact table has. Shop fact, right click on it. Number of rows in a table. Click OK. So it has 89,171 rows. But the dimension table, outlet lookup dimension table, it has only 16 rows. So your fact table always contains more number of rows. That's the reason your fact table can also be called as the largest table in the warehouse schema.
Yeah.
The fact table is the largest table in the warehouse schema.
Sure. And I guess that's because it combines data from different dimension tables.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it stores data from different dimension tables. We have dimension tables like article lookup, outlet lookup, calendar year lookup, article color lookup. So all this data finally it gets stored in your fact table. That's the reason it's called as the data warehouse.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So now hope you understood the slide clearly. A universe, the role of a universe, and the semantic layer. And in the semantic layer, it talks about it may consist of one or more separate universes. So in one semantic layer, you can create a sales universe, you can create an inventory universe, or you can create some other universe. Okay, you can have multiple universes in one semantic layer. And the next point says each universe is a partial representation of a database in the form of business vocabulary. So when we are trying to create a sales universe, it doesn't mean that we are trying to get the structure of all sales tables. No. Whatever the tables we require for analysis, only those tables we are trying to fetch the structure of those tables. That's the reason it's called as partial representation.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Now let's move to the next slide. These are the 6 steps we follow while creating a universe. First, step 1 is we need to define the parameters. Defining parameters is nothing but, so let me create manually all the 6 steps. Say I want to create a new universe. Go to File, New, provide the universe name. So I'll give the universe name as Sales Universe. The first step is what we have seen, define connection parameters. From this interface, UDT, we want to connect to a database. So click on new connection. While creating a universe in UDT, we have three types of connections: personal, secured, and shared. Personal connection, most of the time it will be with the administrator. Whereas secured connection, after we create a connection, that connection can be converted into a secure connection.
Yeah.
Shared connection is usually it is used for testing purpose. After creating different objects, the connection will be shared with different testers so that they test with different values, input values. That is
Okay.
third option. But most of the time we go for a secure connection because this is the connection wherein the end user is going to access. Secured. Now connection name, I'll name it as sales connection. Move to next. Okay, I think so this has some problem.
Okay.
We can do the same thing in information design tool because this is a little older version, maybe as of now it's not supporting, but still we can do it. We can see that later. I'll show you the same connection in IDT. IDT is the latest version which is much compatible with HANA database. So when I say connection parameters are nothing but establishing a connection. Like you can see there's a connection. This connection has been established between UDT and a database, any of the database. Okay, that is the first thing, establishing connections or connection parameters. Now, okay, if at all, let me show you. Go to file. You need to create a new project.
Yep.
Did we create any project last time? No, right?
We did.
We did. Okay, do you remember the name?
Mine is a Shiraz BO project. I think yours is a BO project.
Okay. I've shown you this connection last time.
Yeah, a secure connection and the default connection.
Okay, I've shown you both secure connection and the normal connection. Did I show you how to create this data foundation last time?
Yes.
Okay. Then you know this slide. Defining the parameters is nothing but connection parameters, connecting to different source systems. After connecting, we are going to insert tables.
Yeah. And then you make the joins, and then
Yes.
Yeah.
So all these things we did. For all these things, this is the slide we are going to refer. Insert tables, then make joins. Then next we have resolve loops. Loops are nothing but it's a kind of errors wherein while creating universe, it generates some errors. So that errors we are going to resolve it. That's called as, in BO terminology, we call them as resolving the loops.
Okay.
After resolving the loops, we're going to create classes and objects. So let me show you how to create classes and objects. Right click on your project, new business layer. I'm going to create a different business layer. It's a relational data foundation. We are going to select a relational data foundation. I'll show you how to create both, how to connect with relational as well as OLAP databases. So as of now, we are going to say relational data foundation. Next, then I name it as business layer underscore SS. Move to next. Select your data foundation. Uncheck this box. We don't want to create folders and objects automatically. So uncheck this box, then click on finish. You can see only the business layer name, but classes and objects were not available. So in order to create classes and objects manually, last time, I think so I've selected an automatic option. That's the reason everything came by default. But this time, let me show you how to create classes and objects manually. Say if at all I want to create a class, right click, new folder. Your folder is nothing but it's a class. I name this folder as product dimension. I will name this product as folder as product dimension. Then inside this product dimension, I want to create objects. As I told you, your dimension table contains characteristic objects like product ID, description, category, brand, so on. So now let me show you how to create objects. The product dimension is called as a class, whereas the characteristic objects are called as objects. Because in the slide we were talking about classes and objects. So this is your class. Product underscore dimension is your class. Now to create objects, right click on your class. There is product dimension. Go to new dimension. This dimension is nothing but your object. So select this dimension. Now I want product ID. Product ID. Data type. I'm showing you how to create manually. Data type is numeric. Then this is the name, it is visible for the end user, not the original name. Actually, the original column name is article ID. You can see there down below. Under article lookup, the first column is article ID. So instead of article ID, I renamed it as product ID. and this is the name is visible to my end users. Understood this point?
Yep.
Okay. Now I need to assign article ID for this product ID. So click on SQL Assistant. Expand the table article lookup. Double click on article ID. Validate. Expression is valid, close. Click OK. See this product ID. For this product ID, the data will be fetched from article ID, and this data is in the database, not in your IDT or in your UDT. During runtime, when you execute, that is where it fetches the data into this column. And this column, product ID, is visible to end users. And so now, so in the same way, we can create some other, let me quickly create some other objects. Go to File, New. Another dimension. I name this dimension as product ID. I name it as description. The description, for this description, okay, sorry, I renamed it the class name. This has to be product dimension. This name I need to change. So this I name it as description. The description data type is string. And which column we are going to assign for this description? The second one, article label. This is the column I am going to link to this description. So click on SQL Assistant, expand your article lookup table, double click on article label. There is nothing but your description. Validate and close. Click OK. So let me quickly create one more dimension table and then a fact table. So right click on your business layer once again. Create new folder. But this folder, if you notice, it's inside your product dimension. We don't want a folder inside product dimension.
Yeah.
Okay. Right click on your business layer, new folder. I name this folder as store dimension. Store dimension. Now in the store dimension, let me add another dimension.
So it'll be like store ID or something.
Yes, I can add store ID or manager, anything I can add.
Sure.
Store ID, data type. Always you need to change the data type. Numeric. Then SQL Assistant. For the store ID, the data must come from outlet lookup, because outlet is nothing but your store. The shop ID. Double click. validate, then close. Click OK. Understood now?
Yep.
Now in the store ID, inside this store ID, if at all I want to create another attribute which is inside store ID, you can right click on store ID, new attribute. This attribute is inside store ID, and I name this attribute as manager. Manager,
So
data type.
the manager is the attribute of the store, like the
Yes,
manager of individual store.
yes. So inside
Okay.
store, he is the manager.
Yeah.
Okay. It is like hierarchy, a sub hierarchy. Inside a table, there's one more sub table.
Yeah.
Now, as this is an attribute, manager is a string. Notice here there is a change in the icon to one star. Okay, so this indicates that this manager is not a direct dimension table, whereas it's a detailed dimension table. You can see that in your slide. Let me show you. You can see here. You can see classes. The folder is your class, whereas inside the folder, whatever the dimension you have created, it's called as an object. And in objects, we have three types. You can see here in this slide. One is dimension object, other one is measure object, and the third one is detail object. So as of now, we have created a detail object. What is the detail object here? Manager is the detail object. Okay, for that store, the store may have different branches. With the same name, they may have different branches. But I want to talk to a manager from a particular store. Okay, so this manager is known as a detailed object. So the folder is your dimension object. Sorry, folder is your class. Store ID is your dimension object. Manager is your detail object. Along with this, you also have a measure object that comes in your fact table. Measures, business measures. Okay.
Okay.
Now let me create measures. To create measures, same steps I'll follow. Right click on your business layer, new. This time you select first folder. For measures, we will create a different folder. All measures are stored inside this folder. I'll name this folder as measure. Measures. Measures. Now let me create a measure objects. Right click on measures folder, new. Do you see measure here? Directly select this measure. Expand measures. Select this one. I'll name it as, so I'll name this as sales price. I'll name this as a sales price. And of course it's numeric. Click on SQL Assistant. Expand your fact table, because all measures are available in your fact table.
Right.
Amount sold. So I'll take this amount sold, double click, validate it, click OK, and then close. So for the sales price, it will fetch values from the amount sold column of your fact table. This is your fact table. You can see here fact table. Can you see amounts?
Yep.
So I've taken the reference of amount sold for this column or for this measure object, sales price or selling price. Now this is how manually we are going to create classes and object. Class is nothing but it's a kind of folder, whereas objects we have three types. Dimension object, it is something like your product ID, description, store ID, whereas manager is your detail object, and SP is your measure object. That's what you see here. Three objects: dimension, measure, and detail. So we'll do one thing. After half an hour, can you log in again?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm online. I'm available. All I do is I'll just mute it.
Okay. So this is break time, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then. Bye.
So out of interest, just one thing. So we start again at 6:30 and go until what time?
Yes. Now it's 6. So we're
Yeah.
going to start at 6:30 or 6:35. Okay.
Okay, and then from 6:35 until when?
6:35 to we will make it till 7:30.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. See you then.
Yeah. Fine. Bye. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Hello. Can you hear me? Hello, Sheroz.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So in the last session, we were discussing about how to create classes and objects. So we were about to create measure objects. Let me open the remote desktop again. IDT, I'm going to open information design tool, and information design tool, we are trying to create a business layer. In this business layer, we have already created two dimensions. One is product dimension, other one is store dimension, and the third one is measures. Okay, I think so. We haven't saved this one. I forgot to save. Okay, let me quickly create everything. First one is say product dimension. In this product dimension, let me create one dimension object, that is product ID. Data type is numeric. SQL Assistant. This product ID, I'm going to fetch data for this product ID from article lookup table, article ID column. So double click on this, validate, close, and click OK. Then next one is the description. Again, right click and select dimension, and this time I'll name it as description. Data type. Data type is string. For description, data type is string, and SQL Assistant, I want to pull the data from same table but with different column, that is article label. Validate the query, click OK and click OK. Then let me create another dimension table, that is store dimension folder. These folders, we call them as classes. Class is something which can accommodate different objects like measure object, dimension object, as well as detail object. Now store dimension. In store dimension, let me create say dimension object. I'll name it as store ID. This store ID I'll take from store ID, it's a numeric, so data type numeric, and click on SQL Assistant, expand outlet lookup. Expand outlet lookup and double click on shop ID, validate, close, and then click OK. Then let me create inside this store ID, I'm going to create a new attribute, and I'll call this attribute as manager. Store manager. String, data type, SQL Assistant. You can link manager table, manager column from outlet lookup table. Double click on this, validate, close, and then click OK. Now all your measure objects are created separately in a different class. That's the reason I'm going to create a new class or a new folder, and I'll rename this folder as measures, wherein all business measures are stored here. Measures. Then in this measure, let me create a measure object. You can change here. If at all you have clicked on dimension, you can select measure from the type. I'll name this as revenue. Data type for this measure is numeric. And your measure is always an aggregate function. Always remember, your measure comes with an aggregate function. You can see different aggregate functions here: minimum, max, sum, and so on. So let me select default as sum. You must not forget this. Whenever you're creating a measure object, make sure you select the projection function as any one of the aggregate function. Then SQL Assistant, expand your shop facts, double click on amount sold, validate, close, and then click OK. So we have created 3 dimensions, 1 detail object, and one measure object. Now using this 5 objects, we can create a business query. Of course, here in this slide, we were discussing about universe creation. We were talking about this one. Okay, we have defined parameters, inserted tables. Of course, joins, all joins were done manually, and resolving loops. As of now, we haven't seen any errors. That's the reason we didn't resolve any loops. And after that, create classes and objects. When I say create classes and objects, you can see the definitions here. In slide number 17. See here it says what is a class. A class is a container of objects wherein it has, you might have noticed inside folder I have created many objects. Of course I have created 1 or 2 objects, but usually you can create many objects. So a class is a container of objects. You create classes to house objects that have a common purpose in the universe. So whatever we required, whatever the objects we required for the end users, we are going to create that object and we are going to put that object inside a class. Okay.
Yep.
Now, after creating the folder is nothing but your class. Then object. When I right clicked on that folder, you have seen dimension, measure, and so on. These are called as objects. It's a named component in a universe that represents a column or function in a database. So after selecting the dimension, I've given the dimension name as shop ID. And to this shop ID, I'm referring to the column or function in the database. That's what I did by clicking on SQL Assistant.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, it appears as an icon in the universe, and it is used by an end users in business environment. So the end users, they can see only these classes which we have created. They can see only the names. They cannot see the original names. For example, if you take this IDT, I have created revenue as the class name, but the original name is not revenue, it is amount underscore sold.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's hidden. It's hidden to the end users. Now you know what is a dimension, what is a class.
Yep.
And when we're talking about dimensions, in the next slide, okay, here we're talking about different types of objects. When we're talking about objects, there are 3 types of objects. One is dimension object, that's what we have already created. Shop ID, product ID, all this we call them as dimension object. Then the next one is detail object. The detail object, you remember we have created manager. Shop ID is a dimension object, whereas manager is a detail object. You can see here there's an example. Customer is a dimension object, whereas the detail objects are customer's age, phone number, address, and so on. Understood this point?
Yep.
Okay. Now, measure objects. Of course, we have created revenue as a measure object. Okay, it contains, see in the box, it contains aggregate functions that map to statistics in the database. That's the reason while creating this measure object, I have selected an aggregate function from the drop down sum. I've selected sum as an aggregate function from the drop down. Did you notice that?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
While creating measure object, you see here, say revenue measure object. What is the type here? It's measure, and under project function, I have selected the aggregate function sum.
Yeah.
That's what the description says here. Contains aggregate function that map to statistics in the database.
Yeah.
Detail object, you need to remember the one point here. A detail object is always attached to a dimension. If you notice here in this example, customer is a dimension, whereas age, phone number, and address, these are all the detail objects which is attached to this dimension.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, after creating all these objects, we can create a business query, and this query can be accessed by the end users as well. Click on this query, new icon or insert query. You can see all the dimension tables and the fact table. Product dimension, stored dimension, as well as measures. Inside stored dimension, we have a detail object called as manager. Now, let me add all these objects to the result objects box. Double click will add to your right side box. Product ID, description, then say manager, and revenue. When you're writing a query, always make sure you have at least one measure object. That is either sales revenue or quantity sold. At least one measure object is mandatory. Now, if at all you want to view script for this, and a SQL script is generated automatically in the backend. See here, select table name dot column name, so on. All the table names I have given. From all the tables which I have chosen, I have taken article table, outlet table, as well as fact table. Okay, this script, this SQL script has been generated in the backend the moment you add these objects in your result object box.
Right.
Now click on refresh data preview. This is preview of the data.
Right.
Click OK. Now you can save this query. Always make sure after doing some work, click on the icon save all. If not, sometimes you may lose your data.
Right.
You may lose, say you have created some joins, you may lose those joins. That's the reason, always better to save. Now, your universe is ready. So this business layer, SS, BL underscore SS, in UDT terminology, in universe designer terminology, it is called as universe, whereas in IDT, it is called as business layer.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we have seen now in this slide. What is a universe? See, let me just scroll up directly to that slide. Here we are talking about a universe. See here at the last, it's a semantic layer or a business layer, consists of one or more separate universes. So in this example, we have two universes. One is BL underscore SS, that is business layer, Other one is BL underscore MS access. So it is
Yep.
more than one. Now, after saving this business layer or universe, if at all you want end users to access this universe, or to access the query, or to access the objects which you have added in the query, you must publish this business layer to a repository. Publish this business layer to a repository. Okay.
Yep.
Do you know what is repository?
No.
Okay. Repository is something which is a temporary storage area wherein it stores temporarily. For example, if you take water bottle,
Yeah.
your empty water bottle is a repository wherein when you fill water, that water bottle contains water.
Yeah.
Okay. A repository is something, it's a kind of water bottle wherein in this water bottle,
Yeah.
when you execute the query, the data will be fetched in this water bottle or in this repository, and from here it will be displayed to the front-end layer. Understood? So every time,
sure.
if you change the shape of the bottle, even the water which you fill, even that shape changes. The same way, every time when you change the query objects, say in this query, I have used product ID, description, store ID, and all these things. Instead of these, I want to change this query. I don't want to use product ID, rather I want to use store ID. Then it's like your water bottle has changed. The shape of your water bottle has changed.
Yeah.
Okay. Query can be different. So while when you execute, the data will be fetched from the database, and via this repository, it gets displayed in the front-end layer of the end user. Understood now?
Yeah.
Now you can execute this query. Here we have a preview in IDT itself. You can see the data preview. Product ID, description, store ID, manager, and revenue. If you want to analyze, go to analysis. Your SAP HANA is similar. Almost the screen of your SAP HANA will have the same look and feel.
Right. Okay.
But all I want to know, say, for a particular store ID, I want to add description as manager and the revenue. Okay, you can see here the manager Anderson with the store ID 197. He is the one who performed the best revenue, who has generated the best revenue for his store. Did you notice here?
Yes.
197
Yeah.
is the store ID, whereas the store manager is Anderson, and the least is 277 is the store ID, and total is the manager's name.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how later on we are going to analyze the data from a database by creating reports. This is just it will give you a preview of how this data will be appear to the end user.
Okay.
Okay. And now let's move to the slide again.
I just got a question about SQL queries.
Okay.
I mean, so basically the queries are written automatically. Is there ever a time where you yourself, you write queries manually? You write it yourself?
Okay. So in business objects, what happens is the moment you add objects, so let me go back to the query.
Yeah.
If you notice here, these are the
Yeah.
objects which I have added in the result object box. Automatically a SQL query is generated in the backend. If at all you want to manually add something, you can do that. Click on use script. You can copy the script or you can delete this and you can write your own query here. Okay, or you can also modify your query as per the requirement. Okay, but in business objects, the query will be generated automatically, because if at all you want to write a SQL query, it will take a lot of time. See, to write this query, select all these columns from all these tables where so and so and so and so. It will take time, right?
Yeah.
But in business objects, the moment you add objects to your result object box, automatically a query will be generated in the back.
Okay. Is it ever possible that SAP could generate a query automatically, but you might have to add something to it?
Okay. Yes. If at all, you mean to ask me, can we add something to the existing query? Is that your question?
Yeah, I mean, basically, could SAP ever generate a query that wouldn't necessarily give us like the best understanding of the data? Would it ever be necessary for a consultant to add more?
Want to write a query, and if at all you want to know the best understanding of data, in that case, of course, in business objects, it's not possible, but in HANA, it's possible. SAP HANA.
Okay.
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 So any other questions here at this particular point?
No. Basically, just in BO, it's not really possible for the automatically generated query to be incorrect.
Yeah, automatically whatever the query generates, it generates the correct query. There's no incorrect query. Okay.
Okay.
Let's click OK. Then close. Any changes to make it to the continuous? No. So you're cleared with classes, objects, right? You know what is class, you know what is objects. In objects, we have three types: dimension, detail, and measure objects.
Yep.
The same thing they're showing here. Now, universe parameters. So when we're talking about universe parameters, parameters are definitions and restrictions that we define for a universe. Okay, while creating universe, we provide a different definitions and we give some restrictions so that not everyone can access the universe. Actually, the consultants who design universe, they don't give access or permission for the end users to look into any of the queries or any of the joins and all this stuff. Okay, is that clear? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So when we're talking about universe parameters, it has all these parameters: definition, summary information, strategies, control, SQL, as well as links. All these things you can see in your UDT. Let me check UDT once again and see whether I can open it. I want to open UDT. For UDT, the shortcut is this one. Passwords are case sensitive. 1, 2, 3, 4. eFashion is the default universe. Even in IDT, you have this eFashion, wherein it contains different dimension tables and fact table. When we're talking about parameters, so we have an option here for parameters. Okay, let me go to File, Parameters. Can you see here parameters?
Yep.
Okay, you can see different tabs here: definition, summary, strategies, and all these things. The same tab names you see in your PPT. Definition. When I say definition, it includes a universe name, description, what is the purpose of creating this universe, and connection parameters, to which database or to which source you have connected from this universe.
Yeah.
Understood? Definition.
Yeah.
The summary information will give you the revision and version information, along with, if at all there are any comments, or what are the joins they have used, what are the joins they have created in this universe. So it will give you the summary information of that entire universe, so that, say, suppose the designer, he has created the universe, and after some time, say after 1 year, he got a different offer and he moved to a different company. Now the new consultant who comes in, by reading the summary information of the universe, he'll understand all the ins and out of this universe. Okay, for that purpose, usually they give summary information. Then strategies. It says it indicates the strategies used by the universe is a script used to extract structural information from a database. So when you're trying to, say, suppose this is a universe, now I want to insert another table. Insert table. These are all the different tables. All these tables are available in your database. Now say I've selected one table. Let me select one table. So I want to insert this table. So when I'm inserting this table, it's not the original table which I'm inserting. Rather, as per this description says, a strategy is a script used to extract structural information from a database. So once after inserting this table, and when you try to see the number of rows or number of columns available in the table, it is this strategy which pulls you, or which extract the structural information from a database for that particular table. Did you understood?
Yep.
Okay, good. Then controls, of course, controls indicate the limitations set for the use of system resources. So what all resources you can use within the universe. That we call it as controls. SQL indicates the types of queries that the end user is allowed to run from query panel. That's what we have seen. We just
Yeah.
now a query has been generated automatically. Is allowed to run from the query panel. So when I click on execute, it is the back-end query that gets executed, not the front-end boxes and all.
Okay.
Okay, that is about
Yep.
SQL. When it comes to link, so you can link two different universes based on a common column. You can link to two different universes wherein you must have a common column to link. It's like a equi-join. Okay, it's like
Yeah.
equal join, wherein two
Sure.
tables, you can join two tables based on a common column. Similarly, if at all you want to link two universes, make sure you have two common columns. In that case, yes, you can link. Understood?
Correct. Yep.
That is your SQL. SQL as well as links. So all these properties you can see here. Go to file, parameters, you can see everything. Do you see everything here? All the tabs?
Yeah.
Definition, summary, strategy, so on.
Yeah.
If at all you want to change your universe connection, yes, in that case you can edit your existing connection. All you need to do is click on edit, provide the username of the existing connection. Of course, as this is an e-fashion is a default universe, we don't have any username and password. No need to enter anything. So if at all you want to change your data source name, from eFashion, say you want to select another data source. Your universe name will be same, but the data is, it fetches is different. Click on next. Again next. Finish. Now did you understood about universe parameters?
Yep.
The next one. Of course, in IDT, we don't have all these parameters and all. It's only UDT. Now coming to the next important point. Of course, connections and login parameters. These things will be provided to you. Okay, now types of connections. In UDT or in Universe Design Tool, we have three types of connections: personal, shared, as well as secure. See what is the personal connection says? It restricts access to data to the universe creator and the computer on which it was created. Your personal connection is something similar to your creating a Gmail account for you personally.
Okay.
Okay, so only you have an access to that.
Okay.
And here when I say personal connection, of course your Gmail can be accessed from anywhere, from your laptop, from your smartphone, or from your iPad, anywhere. Whereas in business objects, when you're creating a personal connection, and if at all you want to edit that personal connection, in that case, you must have an admin rights. And on whatever the computer he or she has created your personal connection, you can access that connection only from that machine or only from that system. Understood now?
Yep.
Whereas we have another one called as shared connection. As I told you, shared connection It is always used during testing phase. One is development phase, next one is testing phase, then next one is after testing, live production. Okay, this is the hierarchy.
Okay.
Now, secure connection. These are the best connections. See here, the first bullet point says centralizes and controls access to data. It is the safest type of connections and should be used to protect the access to sensitive data, because sometimes there is a chance the data can be copied, okay, or the data can be taken away. But your secured connection, if at all you're creating a universe with this secured connection, it will protect access to sensitive data.
Yep.
Understood? So
Yep.
this is about secured and shared connection. But in IDT, we don't have three connections. In IDT, we have only two. One is a local connection, other one is a secure connection. Every time when you create a new connection, default, by default, a local connection is generated. And this local connection can be activated in repository to make it a secure connection. Did you understand this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for stable browser and all, it's talking about this one, table browser. So this is a universe designer. You can see tables, insert tables, you'll get a table browser. Inside this table browser, you have all the tables. That's what it says in the slide.
Yeah.
Table browser. The table browser is a window that displays the tables available in the connected database. So whatever the tables you have seen there just now, all these tables are from MS Access, because by default the refashion generates tables from that particular database connection. Okay.
Okay.
After that, of course, structure pane. Even your structure pane, using this, you can automatically arrange the tables. Of course, these are all we can do it in lab sessions. Now, when it comes to strategy is nothing but it's a script that automatically extracts structural information from a flat file or a database. If at all you want to create a business model using a database called Oracle, then the strategy, what it will do, it will automatically extract structural information from a database to your universe designing layer.
Yeah.
So that is, we call it as strategy. It extracts only the structure, not the data. The data will come during runtime. When you execute the query, that is where the data will be fetched from a source table or source database to the front end layer.
Yeah.
Understood?
Sure. So the data is extracted by SQL, basically.
Yes.
The query. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the table you select, it extracts only the structure of the table, not the original table.
Yeah. So by structure, you mean just like the column names?
Yes. See here, in this example, say if at all I want to insert country, select country, insert. This is only a structure. This is not original table. The original table is in the database itself. Your script, what it does is, when you execute the script, it will extract this structure information from a table which is in database.
Yeah.
And in strategies, we have two types of strategies. One is built-in strategy, other one is external strategy. Built-in strategy, it says, is shipped with designer and it cannot be customized. So whenever you're using a built-in strategy, it comes by default with your reporting, with your designing tool, that is UDT. Then once the strategy is generated in UDT, you cannot customize it, means you cannot modify it based on your client requirement. Understood? That is the reason when I'm trying to create universe in UDT, see here, let me open again. Go to file. Say test is the universe name. Then is click OK. Connection, of course, I need to define the connection. So connection name, I'll name it as eFashion. Test connection, because before moving we will test the connection. Server is responding means the connection has been successfully established between UDT and the database. Click OK. Now when I say OK, you can see an empty universe here. And what is your strategies? It will extract the script. Built-in strategy. Here we are talking about built-in strategy is something wherein by default, while creating this universe, last time we have seen, it is asking for a 4-step process. Create universe, create parameters, tables and joins, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That pop-up will appear. It's a built-in strategy. And it comes with the tool. Whereas when we are talking about external strategy, of course, built-in strategy cannot be customized. External strategy is something wherein based on a client requirement, we are going to pull the tables.
Okay.
But the built-in is not like that. Whatever the tables are available, all tables by default, it will be displayed. Whereas external strategy is something, whatever the tables you require or your client requires, only those tables are visible to us. Understood?
Yeah. Okay.
Of course, in IDT we don't have this one. It is in UDT.
Okay.
Now here you can insert. Go to insert and tables. See, it's displaying many tables. From these many tables, you can choose the tables which you require. Say I want outlet. Insert.
Is this an example of built-in?
Sorry, it is?
Is this an example of built-in strategy?
Yeah, it's an example of not built-in, external.
External. Okay.
Because we have selected only this table.
Okay.
A built-in strategy is something wherein all tables will be added here in your workspace by default. You cannot choose.
Okay.
You cannot customize even. There is an external strategy. You can choose the tables and you can also customize.
Okay.
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 Next, moving to the next slide. Now, once you added your tables, that is where you need to perform joins. Say suppose I have added in this UDT, I have added outlet lookup. Let me add one more table. Say I want to add fact table. Go to insert tables. This is an external strategy. Select shop fact, insert. I think it's already inserted. Close. Now there is no join between these two tables, right?
Yeah.
If at all I want to perform join, only in external strategy you can perform joins manually. If it's an internal strategy, even the joins will be generated automatically.
Okay.
Now I'm doing it manually. Shop ID to say shop ID. Of course, here you'll have a shop ID. 1 minute. Let me expand this one. In this one, let me expand. Shop ID of outlet lookup to shop ID of the fact table. See, this is what the slide says. Join is a condition that links the data in separate but related tables. And we have different types of joins here. If we join, whatever the join we have done now, created now, it's an if we join. Because this join has been performed based on the common column from both the tables. Okay, understood now? This join has been performed based on the common column. What is the common column? Shop ID is the common column. You can see here. You have shop ID here. You also have shop ID here. You can also validate it. Validating is nothing but checking the integrity. Check integrity is nothing but validating. Okay.
Yep.
So what we'll do is we'll stop here. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask the questions. In the next session, we'll continue from joins, because joins is a different topic again. Till now, what we have seen is how to create a business layer or universe, how to create dimension tables, and in objects we have 3 types: dimension object, detail object, and measure objects. We have seen all the 3 types, and we have created. I've shown you how to create all these 3. And while creating measure objects, make sure you select an aggregate function. It can be sum, minimum, maximum, anything. That's what we have seen.
Sure.
Then after that, we have seen in this slide about strategies, built-in as well as external strategy. And we have also seen how to insert tables. And we have in this slide, let me just We have seen all these 5 steps, creating a universe, except the last one, and resolving loops. Okay, as of now we didn't got any errors, so as of now we are not resolving, but later on we'll make an error and
Yeah, sure.
I'll show you how to resolve it. Okay,
Sure.
the total we have discussed till joins, that is slide number 38. This is one. Okay, so in tomorrow's session, as you said, like after 3 anytime you're available, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So I'll send you an email so that we'll fix one slot and we will make again a 3 or 4 hour session tomorrow. In between we can have
Okay.
a small break. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
And this recording, it's not with me because we have logged in using Zoom. You need to check with the admin. If it's in GoToMeeting, yes, I can send you the recording maybe within few hours. But if it is
Okay.
Zoom, it will be with the admin. Okay.
Okay.
And,
I'll check.
and tomorrow you can refer the other slides so that it will be easy for you to understand.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Any questions from your end?
Not for now, no.
Okay. And see you tomorrow. Timing I'll let you know. Okay.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Okay then. Bye. Have a good time.
Bye. You too.
Yeah. Bye. Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep. All good.
Okay. Just give me a moment. One moment.
Sure.
Okay. Let me share my screen. And in the last session, do you remember what all we have discussed in the last session?
We stopped at secured connections, linking to different universes where there's a common column, the personal connections, and shared connections, all that kind of thing.
Yes. Okay. Let me open the server access. We were working both UDT as well as IDT parallel, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me open Universe Design Tool. This universe we can create using quick design wizard, but we were not using this quick design wizard. As I told you, it is creating automatically, but we are trying to create a universe manually. When we
Yep.
try to create a universe manually, we can go to File and we can open yesterday's universe, whatever the universe we have created yesterday. I think it is universe 2. So this is what yesterday I think so we have added few tables. If at all you want to do it again, we can go to new file and new. You can provide the universe name. So I'll give the universe name as SS underscore UNIV. Then connection type. Either choose a default connection or you can create a new connection. Most of the time, this connection is used by the universe designers so that all the classes and objects, all these classes and objects can be accessed by the end user. Whatever the objects and classes which we create, all these objects can be accessed by the end user. That is the reason we always prefer secured connection. Now, select the secured connection and connection name. Click on next. We can choose different drivers. There are different data sources here. You can either choose a SAP source or it can also be a non-SAP source. So in our case, last time we have chosen non-SAP source.
MS Access.
Yes, MS Access. So this time, let me show you how to choose SAP source. Expand SAP, and in SAP, we have two different source systems. One is SAP BW system, that is a data warehouse, and the other one is SAP HANA. So first let us choose SAP BW because in this server we don't have SAP HANA. So after expanding SAP BW system, BW is again a different module in SAP. Later on I can show you an overview of BW as well. Now select the driver. The driver name is SAP client. Move to next. Then we need to provide these credentials to log in to get connected to BW system from Universe Design Tool. Now, this information is not available in your notepad file because if you minimize your remote desktop or if you open the notepad file which is available on top of your remote desktop under BO details, you will not have the details of BW. They'll give only, you can see here BI details, only the username and password. Other details they'll not give. So to get that information, what we need to do is, you can go to Start in the remote desktop. Click on SAP Logon. Right clicks in SAP Logon. You can see there are two servers. One is BW server and the next one is ECC server. So we want to connect to BW. So right click on BW 7.5. 7.5 is the version name. Then select properties. This is where you'll get all the details. The login parameters to get connected from UDT to BW server. Now, so we have description as BW 7.5 application server BODS. Let me first copy application server, Control C, then go to your defining new connection. You can see here application server, paste. Your instance number is a system number. In BW system, we have seen the instance number as 22. So that is your system number. After that, you can provide the username. Username is BO user. Password in lowercase. Welcome 1, 2, 3, 4. Client. If at all we want to know the client details, of course, this client information will be provided to us. If we don't know the client details, then what we can do is log into your BW server. That is, you need to go back to your SAP logon pad. Double click on BW 7.5. You can see the client number here, 001. So this details you need to provide there. Client is 001, already I've given. That's all. After this, move to next. Okay, after moving to next, this dialog box will open. One is favorites, other one is OLAP cubes. When I say BW system, your BW system is an OLAP system. It's not OLTP, rather it's a OLAP system. I hope you know the difference between an OLTP system and an OLAP system. If not, I can tell you.
If you go over it, please.
Sorry?
If you could go over it, please.
It is, no, actually it's a data warehouse. OLAP is a data warehouse. online analytical process.
Right.
Okay. See, if not, let me give you a quick overview on it, both the systems, because you need to identify which is your OLTP system and which is your OLAP system. Towards your left will be your OLTP and towards your right will be your OLAP systems. When I say OLTP systems, it's your databases, Oracle or MS SQL Server, all these things. MS Access, all these are OLTP systems. OLTP stands for Online Transaction Process.
Right.
And your ECC as well, ECC, Enterprise Central Component. But when I say OLAP, the OLAP is your BW system. OLAP, Online It's called as Online Analytic Processing System. So it's used for analysis, and this is your SAP BW system. Business Warehouse. That is the reason when I clicked on next, it's showing the cubes. It's showing info cubes. See here, OLAP cubes. The BW is in OLAP system. So select your OLAP cubes, then click on next. Before that, okay, let me test connection once. The server is responding, means like the connection is fine. Okay, it's asking for the required field level. We'll see. Let us go back. Okay, language is English. And system ID. You know your system ID. Again, you can go to your SAP logon pad, right click on your BW 7.4. Sorry, 7.5 is the version. Go to properties. System ID, even they have not provided here, so we can leave that as blank. Cancel this one and go to next. Okay, now you expand OLAP cubes. See, last time we couldn't able to see all these things. We have seen only OLAP cube and there is no extension. But this time, when after providing the language, it has different info cubes available in BW system. Now let me access any info cube or any OLAP cube. So these are the different cubes created by SAP BW consultants. Of course, we haven't created. Some participants they have created. I have expanded this one, IC plan. Let me also search for the same things we can do in IDT as well. After showing you this, I'll show you in IDT. But the steps are little different there in IDT. It's not like UDT. As I told you, UDT is a older version. Okay, info cube. Okay, let me select this info cube, planning info cube, go to next, finish. Test the connection. Test the connection. It has to show the connection. One moment. I think it got stuck. Let's wait for a while. Meanwhile, let me open IDT. The same thing can also be done in IDT. Go to start. Okay, can you do one thing? Can you log into this server? You have the credentials. I think it got stuck here. So if you log into your server, I will give you a screen share access so that you can share your screen and I'll guide you.
Okay. Okay, now.
Yeah, you can log into the same credentials, same server. Once you're logged in, please let me know.
Okay, so you want me to log into UDT?
Yes, could you able to log into the remote desktop?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, then can you log into UDT? Can you open UDT?
Yep. So password is BO at 555.
If you have already logged into remote desktop, password is welcome1234. If you're logging into UDT, then the password is welcome1234. If you're trying to log into BO server, then the password is BO at 555.
Got you. Okay, I've logged in.
Okay, 1 minute. I want to give you an access so that you can share your screen. Just a moment.
Okay.
Do you have screen share option in your Zoom? The moment you logged in, do you have a screen share option?
1 second, let me just look. I don't think so. I mean, what's the navigation? There's mute, start video, invite participants, share, chat, and record. So
Okay, share.
share, yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Then
click on share.
screen and share. Okay.
Yes, screen share, correct. Okay.
Can you see?
Yes, I can see your screen. Okay, can you cancel this one? Go to File and New. Okay, universe name. I think so we haven't saved that universe. So what you can do is you can give ss_unid because we didn't save that universe.
SS underscore
UNIV. UNIV.
UN.
IV. Now click on under connections. Can you click on new?
Sorry, catch that.
Yes, connections new.
Hello.
I can't see the connections. Did you click on new?
Yeah. Yes, I've clicked on new. I've named it SS underscore UN9.
Okay, yeah, that is your universe name. And below,
And
do you see
then
connections below? Do you see
new
connections?
again.
Yes, new again, correct. Can you click on new again?
Okay. Okay.
So after clicking on new again, do you see all the different drivers? Different drivers, do you see? Hello? Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think so. I lost your screen.
Okay, I'll share it again.
Or else, this time let me try it from my system. If it gets stuck, then you can share your screen. Let me
Oh,
try it once again. Okay?
okay, shall I log out then?
Yeah. No, don't log out. No need to share your screen.
Okay.
I'm just connecting to the remote desktop. Automatically, the moment I connect, we'll see. I think so. You will be logged out there.
Okay, fair enough.
Can you see now? So when you clicked on this new button, this define a new connection window dialog box has been opened for you. This is where you clicked on new, right? And connection is secured, connection name.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Can you see my screen? Okay. I think so. One moment. I forgot to share my screen. One. Can you see my screen now? Can you see now? Hello. Can you see now? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sheros?
Okay, hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, I can. Yes. I was
Okay.
disconnected. I had to get back on.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So the moment you clicked on new button, this dialog box has been opened for you.
Yeah.
Now provide the connection name and click on next.
Hello?
Yes. Screen?
I can see the screen, but the audio is a bit. I can't really hear a lot.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes. So reconnecting.
Can you see my desktop?
No, I can see. I can just see. I think it's frozen, but I can see. Remote desktop connection reconnecting.
Okay. So now I have opened remote desktop connection. Do you see remote desktop connection?
No.
1 minute. It says the screen has shared here.
Okay, so now I can see video started screen sharing.
Okay. I hope you can view my screen now.
Yes, I can. I can see the desktop.
Okay, good.
Great.
So UDT. Instead of clicking on web intelligence, instead of clicking on UDT, I clicked on web intelligence. Just a moment.
That's fine, Dora.
Universe design tool. Then see, whenever you're connecting to Universe design tool or IDT, your password will be welcome1234. If you're connecting to your remote desktop, only then your password is bo@555. Okay?
Okay.
Cancel this one. Go to file and view, and I'll give the same name, whatever the name you have given, the same name I'll provide. You have
Okay.
given SS underscore.
UN9.
Yes. UNI. Then click on new. There's one more new inside. Connection name, say test underscore SS. Move to next. We need to select the data access driver. I have expanded SAP, then expanded BW, selected SAP client, move to next. Then we need to fill in all this information. Username is BO user. This information will be provided to you. You don't need to worry. Password is welcome 1234. Client is 001. As I've shown you, the moment you log into SAP BW 7.5, you'll get the client number over there.
Mm.
Okay. I hope you remember. I've shown you this.
Yeah.
Okay. Then language is EN, that is English. Application server, it is BODS. This is the application server name, and the system number is nothing but your instance number, that is 22. After providing all these parameters, now move to next. Expand OLAP cubes, then you can expand InfoCube. InfoCube is nothing but your star schema. We were discussed about star schema in our first session. That is your InfoCube. So in BW terminology, your star schema is called as InfoCube. Then you can select any model from here. Okay, let me select planning, move to next, and then finish. Okay, connection is successful. If you want, you can also test your connection here. Click on test. See, the server is responding. You must see this message, server is responding. If the connection is not successful, it will give you a message, server is not responding. In that case, again, you need to go back to your connection parameters, check whether you have entered everything correctly, and then you need to test the connection again. Okay. Now click OK and again click OK. So these are all the different classes and objects which are available in BW system. Let me expand info provider. Okay, we have product here. Because product key, long name, scaling. Of course, we don't know all these objects, but if it's with MS Access, we can clearly understand. Anyway, let me add this table product. For OLAP, even if you try to add in your workspace, if you try to drag and drop towards your right, it will not be added. Only for relational connections, only for relational databases, we can add tables and we can perform joins. But for OLAP system, we no need to create any model here because already the model has been created in the either in the BW system or in the HANA server. Okay, did you understand this point?
Yep.
After this, click on save. Save. So your universe is saved. Now the same SAP BW server can also be accessed with IDT. Let me minimize this. Open Information Design tool. Now select your project. This is the project we have created last time. Select your project. Then expand it, and we have created only relational connection. Means we have connected to a relational database. We haven't connected any OLAP database. Your OLAP is either a BW system or your HANA related cubes. Okay?
Yep.
Now to create OLAP connection, right click on your project again, new, OLAP connection. Provide the connection name. I'll name it as SS underscore OLAP connection. I'll name it as SS underscore OLAP connection. Now click on next. Select your BW. You can see here BW7.x. When we say 7.x, it can be 7.1, 7.2, 3, 4, and the current version is 7.5. You select your BICS client, move to next. Save. How we have provided credential over there. Client is 001, username, Devo user, password in lowercase, welcome 1, 2, 3, 4. System ID, anyway they have not provided any system ID. Server name is BODS. System number is 22. Then test connection. Test successful. There it has given a message, server is responding. Here it has given a message, test successful. Now close. Then go to next. Expand your, here instead of cubes, OLAP cubes, it will display as info areas. So expand this folder, info areas. You can see different info areas, and in this info area, we can choose, say, let me choose an info cube, this one. Let me choose an info cube and click on, choose an info cube and click on finish. Now towards the left, you can see your OLAP connection appears here under your project. Now this is a local connection. We need to make it a secure. Right click on this connection name, publish connection to a repository, provide password, that is password is welcome 1, 2, 3, 4 lowercase. Click on connect.
So the connection is basically it's a reference for the end user?
No, this connection is not visible to the end user, whereas from this connection, using this connection, the end user can access the info cubes which are created in BW system.
Right.
Okay, so I'll show you how this connection, using this connection, how the end user can access the info cube which is created in BW server. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the connection finish. The connection was published successfully. And do you want to create a connection shortcut? You can see the message over there. Yes. You wanted to create a connection shortcut. Click yes. Scroll down. You can see the selected one is a secure connection, whereas the below one is your local connection. Okay.
Yep.
Now, how can the BW info cube can be accessed by the end user? The question is, how can an end user access BW info cube using this connection? So what we need to do is, we need to create a business layer using this connection, like how we have created a business layer using MS Access or any other relational connection. So the same way we are going to create a business layer. Right click on the project name, new business layer. Instead of selecting relational data foundation, you select OLAP connection. Click on next. Provide the business layer name. I'll give this name as SS business layer underscore SS underscore OLAP. Now click on next. Select your secured connection, the first one. Then click on next. This is the info cube which we have chosen. Expand your info cube. For this info cube, already a query has been written in SAP BW server. Select the query and move to next. So this info cube has 3 columns, 2 characteristic columns, that is store ID and store country, and the third one is a measure object which is store revenue. All these 3 column related tables are available in BW system. Now click on finish. Towards your right left you can see BWSS underscore OLAP. If at all an end user wants to access this BW related tables or columns, we need to publish this universe to a repository. So right click, publish the repository. Before publishing, it will prompt you to check everything, check all and check integrity. Then move to next. Finish. Universe published successfully. Okay, so now end users can access this universe. I've told you there are different end user components like web intelligence, crystal reports, Lumira, dashboard components like Lumira, design studio and all these things. So let me open one end user, that is web intelligence, and check, and let me check whether we can access this universe, that is BL underscore SS underscore OLAP. So you can minimize your IDP. This is your web intelligence shortcut. Web intelligence switch client, double click. Click on more. You want to access the universe, so click on more. Provide username and password. Log on. Make sure you enter your password correctly. Enter 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you try to locate your business layer. It is BL underscore SS underscore OLAP. Okay, this is yours. Double click. You can see the same columns here. Store ID, country revenue. Double click on store ID, country, revenue. The moment you double click, it will be added in the result object box. Click on refresh to see the preview of this data. Measures are not found. Okay, can you see store ID, country, but of course for store revenue, it's not displayed any data. Let's see. Okay, you need to add the below one. Store revenue formatted. Now you can see the store revenue values. It is 50,000, 45,000, 40,000. Of course, at the next to that, it's showing error. In BW system, when they have inserted the data, they might have inserted 50,000 and left. In the next column, they might have left it blank.
Right. Okay.
Okay, it can be British pounds or US dollars or euros, anything. Okay.
Okay.
So now you understood, right, how to access even non-SAP, even BW data source from web intelligence, from the end users of business objects.
Yep.
Okay. Now, can we have a small 10-15 minutes break?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'll be back in 15 minutes, 1-5.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not logging out. It will be there. All I will do is I'll just mute it.
Sure.
Okay then. After 15 minutes, I'll be online.
Okay.